right, hello and welcome to everyone who actually made it. I'm glad that you are here. For everyone else, I apologize if you're watching this in the future. I said I was going to start at 9:30, so I'm not surprised that it's very empty right now. Which I guess maybe I should, I guess in the future, if I make a mistake like this again, I should just start at 9:30 instead of trying to fix it 15 minutes before.
Yeah, but it's about that.
But I bet come 9:30 we will have quite a few people jumping in here to to say hi.
Well, they'll just miss your nice little talk at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe I'll actually get started on time. Really throw people for a loop. So
wow. You mean we're not going to have a late delivery tonight of the episode?
It would be appropriate. I'm just not satisfied with where that camera is sitting. I'm sorry. But hey, that's why you guys came here, right? To see live on air tech support, or not tech support, but tech doings, which Jeff already fixed one of the big things that was happening.
Well, you fixed it. But...
He caught it. I would have missed it. I would have been like, "Hi everyone, I'm an idiot," because that's what I do. Apparently, my microphone was sounding horrible, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Not OBS. Voice meter is being dumb again. I hate it when it's like this, and it definitely ended up being a picnic problem. That's problem in chair, or problem chair, not in keyboard. Picnic. It was, I hadn't plugged in the microphone. I had to take my laptop to church on Sunday because I was teaching, and I used it for my slides. I'd forgotten to hook everything back up. But how's your week been?
Yeah. Busy so far. Busy. But it's been good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Do some laundry and get some groceries and help a friend out with his streams.
Me, or talking about
well,
Nerdy?
in addition to you, and it's not Jep Nerdy, no.
Okay. So, sorry, I suddenly was very curious. Yesterday, one of my coworkers mentioned there was some a shooting in Arkansas, and I thought it was weird because I haven't heard anything else about it, and I was trying to look. I finally remembered, and I was trying to look if that was actually a thing that happened, but at University of Arkansas.
I didn't hear about that, although there seems to have been a few of them recently.
It's always disappointing when people feel like there is no alternative means of dialogue than violence.
I know what you mean.
I guess violence isn't dialogue, but...
Well, it is in a way.
They feel like there's no recourse. And honestly, this is something... Hey, me like, oh no, we're going to get started quick today, and now me going down this rabbit trail. This is something that I've really noticed in my lifetime has gotten really super bad. And it's one of those things where I have to wonder, is it really getting worse? Or as I get older, am I aware of what was always going on? And my gut is that it's been getting worse. It seems like the more we went away from unbiased news to everything is the editorialized stuff. What do you call that? Like the Sean Hannitys and the Rachel Maddows, to pick two people from opposite extremes. They're not news anchors. They are opinion pieces.
Opinion. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. And we've slowly gone away from people who gave the news, where they'd be like, and today on the news, there was a dog who was walking a man. More details at 6. And you'd be like, oh, well, that's interesting. You stick around and you watch. And then they give you the unbiased facts. And we know there's always a little bit of biases there. but
The Walter Cronkites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just seems like more and more, like I saw this a big rise in like the Stephen Colbert age. Remember when he did on Comedy Central, he was the conservative, quote unquote, alternative to Jon Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
The Colbert Report. It seems like with the Colbert Report and the Daily Show, and they both start off relatively funny. Props to them. But it seemed like more and more people got their news through editorialized stuff, which is just people giving their opinions to be inflammatory. That's like the whole point of a round panel conference, dialogue, committee. Like that's the whole point. You say stuff, you throw out highly inflamed opinions, and that's how people come in. Oh wow, this guy is saying what I wish I could say. I'm gonna listen to them more. And Thomas is saying Arkansas was a hoax. Was it really?
I don't know. This is the first I've heard of the Arkansas one.
See, I tried to Google it, and I really, I had to lower it down to just the past week. And I feel like if it was a big thing, it would have been like the top news result. April 2025 in Conway. That was a long time ago. So anyway, like the more you have this just editorialized stuff, and that's all you see, it seems like the less people are willing to dialogue.
Oh yeah, they just want to argue with each other.
Yeah, and it's sad because like a lot of people I grew up with that I would have considered good friends, like they are just rabid in their hatred, to the point where they're posting stuff that is, if you took a half second to think about it, you're like, this is obviously false. Like one of my friends, he was posting nonstop about how Trump is cutting funding for cancer research or something, and all these kids are going to die, and how the Republicans don't care, and like they're cutting all this stuff. And you look at it and you're like, wait a minute. You look at the story, and it turned out that like he is cutting funding, but it's specifically to the administrative people. And it turned out that more and more of this funding was going toward just administration, and less was going toward actual research. And he said, no, if you're getting money, it's going toward research. And so now there's more money toward researching it, but less money in total. But like he won't pay attention to the nuance. All he cares about is how much he hates this guy. Yeah, okay, Roberts. Hatred is beget from ignorance.
So Thomas just posted a link to a news article, and it says the headline: "Student still shaken after active shooter hoax at University of Arkansas."
Well, I'm glad it was a hoax, which makes my whole dialogue moot. But in general, like the point still stands that it seems like more and more people are getting the idea, and I actually talked to some people on the internet about this, just kind of rile them a little. I'll be honest. But I was poking the bear a little bit. They were really like crazy in what they were saying. Oh gosh, now I distracted myself and I forgot what I was going to say.
So you were razzing a few people online.
I was. Specifically about something like this. I was just pointing out the absurdity of their extreme stances. Darn it. It was a really, really funny way I did it too. And as soon as I started to talk about it, it just flew. It just flew right out of my mind. Not willing to dialogue with people. I am going to be going to bed, and all of a sudden it's just going to pop right up into my head.
I hate it when that happens.
Right?
That happens to me. Yeah.
Yeah, trust the core.
When you think of it, you'll just have to start streaming again. And hope people will notice that you're streaming, and then you can just tell us what it was.
Yeah, and Thomas is saying that Trump needs to cut funding to our church events so I stream more. Hey, here's the thing. I volunteer. I don't get funded. So cutting funding is not going to affect me at all. Sorry. Not sorry.
Thomas says you were going to announce the return of the virtual pub.
Oh, is that what it was? It
That's
doesn't
what he
sound
claims.
I mean, it's a great prediction. We're going to have to see if it's right, though. Hopefully it has better odds than my predictions do of getting right. Yeah, the core is mother, the core is father. Exactly right. Well, hey, the point is I wish people dialogued more. I wish you could have contrary opinions. I wish people cared about nuance. Oh, yeah, this is what I was saying. I was talking about how they're all riled up, and I mentioned how, at the end of the day, people are idiots. Like, the vast majority of people out there are just as dumb as bricks. And it was so hilarious because they were as dumb as bricks, and they were so in agreement with me because they thought I was specifically talking about one side of the political party. And they definitely missed the fact that I was throwing some shade at them. But that's the truth of the matter. Like, people, on the whole, are complete idiots. And they watch these shows, and I'll say this, like, hey, both sides. I'm not saying it's all one side. Both sides, you got a lot of idiots because that's what most people are. And they watch these shows and they get so inflamed and then think, wow, like we literally need to do something because they have been spending 5 years talking about how this man is a dictator. Like, remember Obama? Obama was, oh, he's not even American, and we need to do something because he's overthrowing the government. And imagine if Obama had the treatment that Trump has today and was just a 24/7 nonstop, like, this is the end of democracy. We need to take drastic measures. Someone needs to do something immediately. And they're doing these big call to actions about someone needs to do something. And then someone finally does something because they believe that they need to go. They have no recourse left. They believe that democracy is over and that it is the appropriate time to bear arms. And they go out and they do something like a shooting. And I really wish news stations were kind of held accountable for the things they said. Like, it's important that we have freedom of speech. But there are already laws in the book that when your freedom of speech is to incite violence, you have forfeited your right to speak at that point. And there's a big difference between saying, hey, we need to go out to the polls, we need to fight with all our might at the polls, and being like, someone needs to track this guy down, and we need to dox all these judges' addresses, and we need to go protest in front of their house, and we need to be breaking windows. Like, that's a call to violence at that point. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? And yeah, the irony of this statement, they didn't get it. They didn't, and that's the funny thing. Most people don't, because most people are dumb. Hey, it's a fact. But thankfully, y'all are definitely some of the smartest people out here because you are here, and you're actually able to show up at the right time, unlike the person who's scheduled this stuff. He can't even be bothered to plug in his microphone. So, you know. Hey.
At least you showed up at the right time. You just had the wrong time scheduled.
Yeah.
Some people were contemplating whether or not that you were doing a little joke based upon the title of tonight's episode.
That would have been smart. But you need someone who doesn't forget to plug in a microphone if you want that sort of forethought. Now, what would have really been smart is if I scheduled it for 9, but then didn't start it until like 9:15 or something.
Right.
But no such luck on any fronts. Well, in other news, more lighthearted news, I had my Hotter Than Hell bike ride this weekend.
That's right, you did.
I did.
And how did that go, Matthew?
It went well. So I definitely haven't been biking as much as I should, and I definitely have more tummy than I should. So those two things were kind of fighting against me. But I got the 100K, which is about 61 and a half, 62 when you count getting to the starting line and all that junk along with it. But it was a lot of fun. I should have done the 50. I didn't have my lesson done yet. I had to get home and finish it. Like, I had it mostly done, but I definitely need to get home and finish it. And so I should have done the 50. 50 is really about the level of training I had done for this year. But there's just something about me that's like, you know what? I could just about do a 50-mile bike ride, opening up my garage door and just going. So there's something special about going out to Wichita Falls each year. I got it at least to 100K.
That's awesome. But Thomas says you cheated.
Yeah, he says I changed the route, which isn't entirely wrong, but it's also not right. The route was
which is
changed, but it wasn't by me. I wish it had been changed by me.
Who did it?
The Wichita Falls did it. The city of Wichita Falls. They were doing some construction this year, and so the routes had to be tweaked just a little bit. And I really wish. So things you don't care about, but I'm going to talk about anyway. There is a type of road called a chip seal road.
Mm-hmm. Well, familiar with it.
It is horrendous to bike on. Because the whole time you're just like bouncing the whole way down the road, and it's like a 10-mile stretch, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. And it's just murder to go down. Your arms get numb, your legs get jostled. It's the worst. And if I had my druthers, I would change the route so we never have to be on that road again. But you gotta. I only did the road in 9 parsecs.
Thomas says at least you got a medal for original thinking.
Did I?
That's what he claims.
Yeah. So actually this year's medals are made out of wood. They are
a wooden medal. Okay.
Yeah. They're like a laser engraved. I should have brought it up here. I didn't think of doing it. But it's a circle medal, but it's like laser etched. Which is kind of neat. And yeah, Thomas, you're not going to see an upload of the race this year. I did not record it. And it was a conscious choice. I've done it the past couple of years. I just didn't want to worry about setting up the camera this year. And it's sad because this was the coolest year on record. And by coolest, I mean like it was only 96.
Yeah, we've had a mild summer here for Texas.
Mercer, we need a longer fare of the banana. Yes, I too miss the Orville. But it has been, and apparently it got even colder like today. It's like 81 on which it may have been, I think it was 88 here in Fort Worth. But it was close to 90 here today. Although this time next week it's supposed to be pretty cool, even cooler. Yeah. So I don't know.
Around 80
it's
or
been a weird year.
Maybe a little lower. Yeah, it has.
I'm interested to see, like, I kind of hope this means we're going to get a real cold winter. Because it'd be nice. Like, hopefully the Texas electrical grid could handle a cold winter. But I would prefer a nice deep freeze this year to kind of knock back some of the insect populations we've had growing. Because we've had some mild winters the past couple of years. Now you have to convert to Celsius. Okay, so 88 is about 31.1 degrees Celsius, I believe.
That's pretty close, I think.
I have a coworker from Canada. And it was funny because she came into the office the other day and just talking about how hot it was, and it was all 38. Or it started off at 36 and now it's 38. And the young guy who sits behind me was just so confused. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And like, she's from Canada, man. They do the Celsius. So Thomas, you get true cold winter. I'm talking about a Texas cold winter.
Yeah, the past 3 winters have been pretty mild here, actually. The last one I think was the coldest of the 3, but still, it was pretty mild.
It was. It really was.
Yeah,
and it's been wet.
The
We
two
needed
before
this
it
much
were.
rain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Although we didn't need all that rain back on July 4th.
No.
Mercer's saying that he's jealous of my smart voice.
Oh.
That's interesting. Don't need to be jealous. I can be quite dumb sounding at times. I admit it. I admit it.
I am glad I didn't record it, though, for two reasons. One, there were 4 ambulances this year that I went right by. Just people, they had bad spills. So thankfully, like, they weren't neck braced or anything. And it wasn't hot enough for them to be having heat stroke. Wasn't that. It's just they had a bad spill and things were not good. Like they were, broken arms or something. One of them happened within the first 1.5 miles. Bless his heart. Maybe 2 miles. But I come up, so I start 3 or 4 rows back. So by the time I actually go, it's about 15 minutes past the start of the race. So by the time we get there, the ambulance was already there and they were trying to lift this guy up onto the stretcher. And it was a painful experience for him. Bless his heart. And it's rough. Like if you're going to wipe out at an event like this, you kind of want to wipe out at the very end. But to wipe out at the beginning, that's sad,
Yeah. Feel bad for the guy.
So that's one reason. It wasn't the most pleasant. Like it would have been, I don't think there was any blood on any of them, but still it would have been something where I'd have to find that and make sure like I wasn't showing anything too gruesome. No one wants to see a compound fracture. But the other thing was, a guy was peeing on the side of the road as I biked past. One of the bikers had pulled over, and he had his back to oncoming bikers, so that you would have had to like deliberately turn around to look at him to see anything, which no one was doing. No one wanted to see this, but it was still weird. Like I wouldn't have wanted that on my recording.
No, I'm kind of shocked.
And it was doubly weird because of where he did it was just past a rest stop. They set up every 20, 15 miles, depending on what part of the race you're in, rest stops. And so he turned to go to the 100K and 100-mile route, and you go around this corner. So it's like maybe 1.5 miles from a rest stop. He could have used it. Like if it was that pressing, clearly it was that pressing back there. Or he could have just held it in until the next rest stop in a few minutes. Like, anyway, I would not have wanted this on my stream. So
maybe it's a good thing you didn't record.
Yeah. Did I
Thomas says
just now?
I guess you did. Thomas says you deliberately turned around and looked.
I did not.
How else would you have known?
The stream. The stream. Like I'm biking, there's a guy on the side. He's doing the stance. As a man, you all know the stance. And I'm like, is he? And then you see the stream of water. And you're like, he is. He is. Was it a good stream? Yeah. He was well hydrated. Yeah, Mercer. So the ride, the longest part of the ride is 100 miles. And then they go down from there to do a 75-mile route, a 100K route, so 61.5-ish, a 50-mile route, and a 25-mile route. So each year I go with people from my dad's generation. Actually, my oldest brother's father-in-law, I go with him and his buddies. And so the oldest guy who rides with us is an 82-year-old guy. And it is so frustrating to me that every time it tracks us. So I pull up our app and I go, okay, Matthew, what did I do? It just says start time, end time, the end. It doesn't count, hey, I wasn't moving, so we're going to pull that time out. I was at like 11.6 miles an hour on average. He did 11.8. I cannot go faster than an 80-year-old man, and it is so frustrating. I'm like, I should be able to beat him, and I just can't. And he won't believe me on this, but every single time I'm always working to catch up with where he is at the beginning of the race. And then I look at our times after the race, and he beats me in the app. Now, he did only go 25, so it was a less sustained, but still, he beat me. How long does it take? I think it took me about 5.5 hours this time. Let's see here. So there's an app called Run Far USA, and they do our tracking. So I did 5 hours and 20 minutes. All said and done. But to be fair, I also stopped. So let me see my time without stopping. So it took me 4.5 hours if I just went straight. So I was stopped for about 50 minutes each time, and I deliberately stopped this time around because I knew I hadn't trained enough to go that far, and so I took long breaks, or I say long breaks, but I took enough of a break to get some rest without letting my muscles go into recovery mode. Because if you stop for more than about 5 to 10 minutes, your muscles go, okay, we're done working out, we can stop. Yeah. And so I didn't want that to happen. But at the end, have you ever done ice baths?
No.
So they help. But the idea is after you do a big workout, you have a tub of water filled with ice, and you get down and you be in there for a few minutes, and it helps those muscles relax. So what I did, since there were no ice baths, I had a water bottle that I just had filled with ice water, and I was literally just like dousing my legs the last like 15 miles, just trying to get my muscles to hang in there.
You do what you got to do. Mercer says, don't worry about others, Matthew. It's all about your personal journey and bettering yourself.
It's true, and that's why this is a ride and not a race, but still, in the words of Worf, if it doesn't matter, why keep score?
Keep score for yourself. That's probably the answer.
I sat in a chair and dumped bucket. No, I sat on a bike and dumped a bottle or a stream of ice water on my legs. Mercer, are you pulling my leg? Did Beethoven actually pour ice water in his head before composing?
That's news to me. I've never heard that story before. I like Beethoven.
Should have recorded the Gelogia. No. I think I still have that background, though. Let's see. There we go. The Gelogia.
Yes, the Voyager episode. Yes, Voyager episode 11001001.
You should have made it like a TOS episode title, or I mean, you could have done DS9, but he was actually in DS9. So Worf said that in the Voyager episode, The Cage. Boo, Trevor Lorne. Oh, that's such a dad joke. Beethoven composed until he died. Then he decomposed. I'm stealing it, but still, boo.
Boo it, but you're going to steal it. Okay.
It is a fun background. It's what I used on the virtual pub. Remember when we just did those marathon streams? It was COVID times, and
you used that one?
Yeah,
I just remember all the alcohol behind you.
Oh no, this was whenever I had to go Gelogia.
Ah, okay. I don't remember that. You know, maybe you're just misremembering. You know, you didn't do it very often. I think you hardly ever did the virtual pub.
It's definitely been a while.
Maybe it's just a rumor.
Unsubstantiated at that.
Hmm.
Well, what do you say Now that it's the time it was scheduled to start, apparently. What do you say we jump into this thing?
Hey, we could do that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
A late delivery, and yet also right on time for me.
Strange how that works.
Oh, is it really, Thomas? He says, speaking of
Yes,
remembering, today is the 1-year anniversary of Bird's passing.
Yeah.
That's sad.
We miss Bird.
Okay, we're not getting started. So as I got home, I'd been getting texts on the drive home. I'm like, okay, this isn't Amy. Amy would just call me. Whenever I get home, I'll see who it is. So I pull it up, and it was my sister-in-law trying to figure out what sort of plans we got going on this year. The sister-in-law, the brother who passed a little over a year ago. And she got remarried. A nice guy. But they were trying to figure out, are they coming up here? Are they aren't? And it was like this kind of bittersweet thing. Like, oh, it'll be nice to see him. And it's also like surreal that she's not my brother's wife anymore. And I want to feel sad about that, but I don't feel sad about that. It's like a weird mixture of emotions there.
Yeah, I can see that. It's very just kind of strange to think about.
Yeah.
The change in status.
But he's a nice guy, so hopefully they get to come up for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And it's weird because for the Bird thing, it feels like it should be more than a year. Like it feels like longer than a year somehow. Like it feels like he's been gone from us at a greater duration than that.
And yet it seems like it was almost yesterday it happened.
Yeah. Memories are weird.
Time is strange.
Wibbly wobbly, tiny whiny.
Why
You speak like children. Child. I don't know where he gets that. Yeah, Omni. So I unsubbed. I don't like the AI form.
Has that happened more than once? I've only seen it once. I am still subscribed to the channel. I know that they're having that constant 24-hour old streaming. But
that was the other reason I unsubscribed. Like I was on the fence because I'm like, the great thing about being on Bird's stream or about Bird streams was being on there with him and the dialogue and the rants he'd do. And
oh yeah.
And it's just not the same to watch the stream as to be in the stream.
Yeah. You can't interact with him.
So it was hard.
Probably something
every
you've seen
day,
before. Yeah.
Yeah. Every day you'd have that. And then there was the AI voice one. I'm like, no, I'm done. I can't do AI for dead people.
I didn't understand that. I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, and no shade for those who process grief that way. I just couldn't do it.
No, you're right. I say
anyway,
let him rest in peace.
Yeah. It's kind of like those holograms of the dead people they do. Like, it's one thing if it's in a museum, and it's like, hey, here's a hologram of this person doing something they actually did. But to do a hologram of someone like doing like, hey, we're doing a live performance of this dead musician. I forget which guy had that done to him, but it was definitely weird. I want to say it was some pseudo rapper guy.
Missed that one.
Anyway, yeah, Brandon. He says his YouTube says a late delivery from Avalon is season 3, episode 13, and that is correct.
Yes,
we are
it
doing
is.
Season 3, episode 13. a late delivery from Avalon. So 2 weeks ago, I made a prediction about what this episode would be about. Jeff, do you recall what that prediction was?
Well, you were going on about Avalon. What is Avalon? A legendary island in Arthurian mythology and almost utopia where Arthur is supposed to be and come back from, associated with themes of healing and rebirth. It's interesting that it's a late delivery from Avalon, you said. They're trying to maybe to tie in the Arthurian legend, but what would be coming late? What would be coming late from this? A king, a leader, a weapon, maybe Excalibur? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be something the crew need from the past? Since we just had a character-heavy episode, you said, this is going to be one of those episodes where there's no way for you to really guess because this was going to be a standalone episode, you thought. He said that this will touch base with our good friend Strider, Marcus Cole. What's being delivered from Avalon will have something to do with the Rangers, you thought. Specifically Marcus. Something that's supposed to be bringing healing, but it's coming at the wrong time, perhaps? So instead of having its intended purpose of healing, instead it will end up causing some system disruptions on the station and eventually has to be sent away so that at the appropriate time it can come back and actually be useful. Well, so that was your prediction.
Sounds like a solid guess.
Yeah, and it sounds a little bit like a DS9 episode.
Oh, does it really? What episode?
Yeah. Was it the Sword of Kalis?
Yes, and they had to throw the Sword of Kalis into deep space at the end of it. Oh, gosh. You're right.
Yeah, as I was reading it back earlier this evening, I went, that sounds like a DS9 episode almost.
I recall that now. It was a Klingon episode where was it the one where Kor died? No, that was with the albino.
Yeah.
There was Kang and Kor. I forget the third one.
Joel says that he's sure that it's just a coincidence.
You never know with my brain. I may have tapped into something there. Kang, Kor, and Kovath. And I want to say, by this point, one of them had died. I want to say the albino episode happened before the Kalis episode. Kovath? I'm going to run with it.
Didn't go Matthew.
Maybe.
Koloth.
Kovath better. Kang and Koloth died in season 2 albino? Okay. So it was only Kor who was left. So yeah, Kor teams up with Jadzia and Worf to go and get the Sword of Kalis. And they actually do find it, but then Kor and Worf are bickering the whole time and fighting, and they have to beam it into deep space and let it go. Did I call Kor corn? I did not. I did not. Everything else I probably did wrong, but Kor I got correct. But Kor dies later in season 7 once more under the breach. I don't remember that. I believe you, but I don't remember that.
Korn, Krang, and Kovath.
Yes.
Says Omni.
Hey, Melphasis. Yes, the rapper was Tupac Shakur. Shakur. Wow. It does not bode well for me on names today.
Tupac.
In my lesson on Sunday, I was trying to say Gabriel's name, and I could not say Gabriel.
Gabriel. Okay.
Yep.
It sounds like you.
Oh yeah, I'm literally up there. I'm like Gabriel, Gabriel. Let's go, guys. We just gotta move forward with the lesson. And the kids are trying not to laugh. I'm like, you go ahead. Like I get names wrong. We do this. We move forward.
Need I remind you? You had a couple of other predictions for the future.
That's true.
Yes, you do. Do you remember what they are?
I do. So one of them, and I stand by both of these. One of them I stand by real hard. But I think that at some point, we're going to find out that the White Star, or not find out, we're going to see the White Star get significantly damaged. And the Techno Mages are going to be summoned back or come back to give the White Star some much needed upgrades and repairs so that they can fight the shadow creatures. I think that one
mages.
I think that one makes a lot of sense. But what I'm really super confident on, like this, if I'm going to make any prediction that's going to be right, this is the one that's going to be right. And that is, earlier we saw Londo get a prophecy with 3 chances where he can turn aside his destined fate. She said, no matter what, you're going to be king or emperor. And so is Veer. Good luck with that. But as for the fate you're trying to avoid, you're going to get 3 chances to avoid it. And she says something about don't kill the undead one. He's already dead. Something about rescuing an eye, or I forget what the one about the eye was. And the third was something about
the eye that does not see.
Yeah. And the third one was about he would either die or give up everything. I forget. But the point is, my prediction is that he's going to miss the first 2. And I think we're going to have a moment after he fails each one where he's going to realize that was the moment. That was one of his chances. And I suspect it will happen at the end of the episode. Like, it'll happen, and then he'll get to the end, and someone will say something, and he'll realize, oh, that was it. That was the moment. And, maybe as soon as he misses the moment, he'll realize he misses the moment. Something like that. I think it will be in the episode is the point. But we're going to see he misses the first 2. And it's going to be the third one, because the way the third one was worded, it's like, hey, this is an undeniable moment where you have to make your choice. I think that'll be the moment where he really gets to make his decision. The other 2 will be missed opportunities, but the third one, that's where he gets to make his choice.
Very good. Very good. You remembered.
So let's go ahead and bring this guy up. If you are not there yet, because I haven't put the link in chat yet, let me go ahead and do that. I've just pinned a message that I highly recommend you all click on. That'll take you to the screening room. If you are here right now and right now only, you can come join us over there. And that will sync up all of our watch times so that whatever I'm talking about, if I'm on subject, is hopefully what's on the screen, plus or minus a couple seconds. Provided that, like, I haven't been disconnected or something like I have been right now. But that's okay. I'm back. If you're here in the future, sorry, this is not a way for you to watch it. And this is actually something I got a comment a couple weeks ago where someone's like, I came here to watch the episode, but there's no episode here. I hate you. Thumbs down. I'm like, okay, sorry that you thought you could steal someone else's like TV series on my YouTube channel. Like, I don't know what you think is happening here, but you gotta have your own thing, guys. Like, but hey, you can watch it for free. Go watch it for free.
Yeah.
Go to Roku. I'm pretty sure they have it. And
they do.
Tubi TV. They have it for free.
BTV.
I want to say that Tubi, you don't even have to create an account, right?
You do not.
So there's a thing. And then if you have Amazon Prime, it comes with Amazon Prime right now. And the Amazon Prime one, I think they have the higher def version. I want to say the other 2 may be the older versions. Regardless.
No, actually it is the remastered on Tubi TV.
Oh, is it?
And I believe it is on Roku as well.
Okay. Then yeah, I mean, and these are both free. Roku and Tubi. Free ways to watch it. So you really have no excuse for trying to pirate stuff for this instance. Go do one of the free versions, guys. And then Amazon Prime, obviously. And there we go. Something updated. Get Jeff back on screen. Nice. The other way, I don't know why it is. Every time we stream at 9:45, it's like, hey, I updated. It doesn't matter how long I leave that open. It does it.
Weird.
It is weird. I should just disable that. I'll try and remember that later. Anyway, Focus, Matthew. If you don't like those options, I don't blame you. There's a far superior version, and that is to go out and buy the physical media. Go get it legally from Best Buy if you got one of those around. Sometimes they're at Walmart.
Best Buy does not sell movies anymore on physical media. They do not.
Well.
They haven't for a while now. I'd say about a year and a half.
I remember this conversation now. I guess I rejected it. I guess I thought there's no way that was possibly true. But you can go to Amazon. Amazon has it right now. If you have Amazon Prime for $71, all 5 seasons. Not a bad price.
I'm looking at it right now on Amazon. I don't have Prime. $68 for the Blu-rays.
Really? $3 cheaper without Prime.
And if you want to get the DVD, it's $47.56.
Now, the thing about the DVD, there are 2 versions of the DVD going around. If you're going to buy the DVD anyway, you might want to just buy the older version because it comes with all the commentary stuff. And the newer version doesn't, I've been told. By Jeff.
Yes. But the newer one has a better picture.
Yeah, so make your choices. Hey, excellent, Brandon. And that's one of the things we were talking about. I miss the old DVDs that came with all the commentaries and stuff. I appreciate the extra level that they gave you. And they just don't anymore. Now they just slap it on a DVD. They don't even really try to, I don't know, they don't put effort into it. It doesn't matter, guys. Let's keep going.
Yeah. As Omni says, the older one is the unremastered picture, and it has a weird stretched widescreen, especially for the CGI part. The live action stuff, natural widescreen, but CGI, they had to blow it up and make it bigger to make it widescreen, and you lose part of the picture that way, and it's just not good.
Jill wants to know, does Tubi TV do 1080p though? So that's an excellent question and a hard answer.
That I do not know.
I don't know either, but I do know no matter if it's Netflix or Tubi or Amazon or YouTube, even things that do 1080p so heavily compress that data that's effectively not 1080p. And with Netflix, you have to be using like a very specific device to get 1080p, even if you're paying for the 1080p service. Like your computer doesn't have the ability to do 1080p unless you like do some special things behind the scenes, if you know what I'm talking about, to force it. Like it only gives the 1080p to their Amazon, not Amazon, like their the smart TV stuff. I forget what they call that interface. Everyone uses the same one. It's like a pseudo Android TV sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you have a smart TV that's not an Apple TV, you know you've seen it. And I think Apple TV has a version too that they let, but you have to have one of those or else it doesn't do 1080p. So that's weird.
Fire Stick?
Yeah, there's the Fire Stick, but the actual operating system on the Fire Stick, they all have the same sort of interface. It's like an underlying OS. These cheap TVs, they just throw it in there. Roku has their own like skin on top of it or something, but the Amazon interface, something like that, yeah. Which it really annoys me because I did buy an ONN stick from Walmart. It's like $20. It's a little square thing like this, and it turns a dumb TV into a smart TV. But the thing about these things is they don't let you have true control over it. Like I don't want it to show me all their advertisements. I don't care what TV show is streaming on Amazon right now. I would like an interface that I don't have to worry about some half-naked lady being on the screen when my kids turn it on because they're advertising some new TV series. and the lady has like this plunging V line. I don't want that, but they don't give you that option, and I find that disappointing.
Right.
And that's across the board. Like Roku does it, Amazon does it. Maybe Apple doesn't. Yeah, or an ad of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, you're right, Thomas. Now, I'm going to be interested to know. I watched the episode earlier on my Blu-ray. I usually watch it on Tubi TV, but I decided to watch this one on my Blu-ray. After the second commercial, actually going into that second commercial break, you don't see the commercial, obviously, but they had the station indent animation on this episode. I'm wondering if the one you're going to have is going to have that station indent break. It's just the Babylon 5 logo with music playing for like 3 or 4 seconds.
All right. Well, let's find out. So I'm going to give us a quick 3 countdown so that if you're here in the future and you're watching on whatever media you want, you're synced up with us. And then obviously, if you're here and you don't have your own media to watch, or you're on your phone or something, you can't have 2 windows open, don't worry. We got a screenshot once every, 7-9 seconds down below. Just the picture, no sound. So hopefully you have a reference for what's going on. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let me give you a countdown and we'll go. So 3, 2, 1, hit that play button, everyone. Okay, so the green sphere, that sort of ship is the Earth style, right?
Yeah, it is an Earth ship.
Earth civilian transport?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I got buffering on my end. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's...
Well, that's never a good sign. Come on.
Yeah, it's buffering.
Come on, Sci-2. Don't die on me now. Yeah, we're in a causality loop. I don't know if this is happening because of me or if
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Tell you what, we'll give this one quick shot to get fixed.
Ooh.
Because I do have a way to hopefully get this going here.
Thomas says, demand a refund.
Yeah, right. So
he demands a refund.
I'm gonna cue this up again. We'll give it a good go here. Hopefully this is a temporary thing on my end, making problems for all y'all.
Fingers crossed. Ooh.
So we're gonna hopefully get this going. Come on. The stream froze for you?
It's playing the first 3 or 4 seconds over and over for me.
Oh, that's not going well. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Hopefully it cleared up. Oh, starting over again.
Yeah, that's on me. I'm trying to kind of jostle this thing awake here.
It's like the Voyager episode I watched last night with the...
So it doesn't look like this is gonna work for us today. What I'll have to do... What we'll have to do is we'll just... we won't have the screening room. Hopefully, everyone take a minute here and try and get your own copy going. So we'll have the slideshow going, and we'll just play our own stuff locally. I don't know what's going on with the screening room. It may be on my end. It seems like everyone else is having fine using it, maybe.
It's playing now.
Oh, I disconnected, so I think it's specifically something going on my internet side. Let's see. Can y'all hear that coming in on the stream right now?
The audio?
Yeah.
The audio? Sound, says Thomas.
Okay, so there was sound there. How can I not have sound there? I would really love to not have sound there. I do apologize for this, everyone. I was not expecting to have... Like, I joked about having all my sound problems fixed with the microphone, and yet here we are. So that's probably coming in there. Yeah, Thomas, I did keep the settings the same this time. This really is turning into a late delivery, huh?
Yes, I would say so.
Let's see. So if I unmute that, everyone tell me if you hear sound. Hopefully you don't. Is it holding? Maybe. So I'm just going to keep talking, and hopefully I'm just going to keep... Okay.
No sound, says K. Roberts.
Okay, so everyone, we're going to do this again. Try to. I'm going to give a quick 3 countdown. We're going to start this from the beginning of the episode. Fortunately, we're only a couple seconds in, so no big issue there. Yeah, I won't mess with it. So I'm just having to play it locally in VLC instead of trying to play it or stream it from the screening room. So 3, 2, 1 again. Hit that play button, guys. So if you're watching it in the streaming room, which it might still be going there,
it is.
You're gonna be ahead. Because I'm starting at the beginning, so you're gonna be quite a little bit ahead.
Is it possible for you to restart it in the streaming room?
Yes, but then I'd have to restart it again. Let's see.
Okay. It's at a minute 22 right now.
Okay, and I'm at about a minute. Okay, so I will unpause the stream, hopefully at right about the right moment. Feels like now. So, aside from the technical issues going on right now,
it's not playing in the streaming room.
Okay, we're all synced up, everyone.
Okay.
I removed myself from being the leader. I'm watching it locally. Hopefully it all works for y'all. So Garibaldi's trying to get some package from the mail. And they have tripled the price of delivery because of all the war stuff going on. And Garibaldi was trying to do an exchange with them for some pepperoni, and the guy seemed interested, but it didn't work.
Wow, that's quite a statement, Thomas.
Even in the future, this post office doesn't work.
Right? Oh, who do we have here?
Got a narrow quarter.
Did you recognize the actor?
I haven't really been able to see his face yet, so no.
Okay.
We got a whole black and white thing going on here. And this scene feels a little familiar.
Yes, Thomas. That was a stupid question on my part.
I don't know if that's a hint about a character who played in DS9 or a statement about my ability to see faces.
That was a comment on my question. I should have known better.
I mean, maybe it was a different series I saw it in, but it feels real familiar where someone opens a door and it turns out the door opened up into space or something and they had to shut it real quick. I want to say that was in this series.
That's not quite true, Kay Roberts. This actor was in a sci-fi series, sci-fi movie in the 70s.
He sees Excalibur, of all things, I'm guessing. Well, okay, so technically he sees a sword in the stone, I want to say. And the sword in the stone was not Excalibur. But most people think it was. Excalibur was given to him from the Lady in the Lake.
Indeed.
Yeah, and he grabs it by the blade. Not a great choice. Especially when you're going to have to lift it out of a stone. But I still don't recognize his face. And to be fair, it was all like 5 frames a second, sort of gray, grainy.
Yeah. I swear that some of this music was composed by a different composer. Almost sounds like Mark Snow's work from the X-Files. It wasn't, but...
Yeah, Omni's saying I will recognize him, which I thank you for that groundless base of confidence. Or groundless vote of confidence, I should say.
I'm talking about the music in that corridor. It almost sounded X-File-ish.
When did X-Files start? Maybe it was X-Files inspired.
93.
Well, so as the episode opened, not Garibaldi, Sheridan and Ivanova were talking about not wanting to have to rely on the Embari all the time. The Veer is out there.
He is indeed. Hey, it's Strider. You're right on me.
It is.
He was distracted, Kay Roberts.
So there's some sort of flu going around right now, and apparently he's saying that, or Strider was saying that the way you get this flu is by mixing alien food with human food and letting it ferment and then eating it. So they're calling it the flu, but it's really like an alien stomach bug. And so Strider, going deeply philosophical, is saying, he takes great solace in the fact that the world isn't fair, because he shudders to think about what if the world was fair and all the bad things that happen to us happen because we deserve them to happen. So no, it's a lot better just to imagine that the world's not fair and we shouldn't be getting what we're getting right now. And yeah, Omni, I enjoy the little moments we get with these two characters.
Dawn of a new age.
So he's trying to describe this pendant he has. He describes how one side is Embari and the other side is human, and then they meld in the middle. But it didn't look super blended to me. I saw one side was definitely a goldish color and one side was silver. But he's saying that he went through kind of a training regiment as a ranger. That was somewhat spiritual as well as very physically demanding. They taught him how to think, how to fight, and how to die. I'm not super recognizing his face here. And he's a knight, apparently.
Is he?
Maybe he thinks himself to be a king? King of the Who?
That's Michael York.
Logan's Run?
Yeah. Logan's Run, yes. Austin Powers, Cabaret.
And so Strider is the only one with a British accent. Niels. And King Arthur, he's saying, "Oh, you're a Briton?" And he goes, "Yes, several generations removed from our fair island, though." And he claims to not be mad, but I've got my doubts. He's saying that, I take your doctor away. I have no need of doctor, no need of leeches. I'm just a little late, that's all. And Thomas is saying that this actor was also a president in Sequest and play King Arthur in a TV movie. Yeah, Omni the Vorlons had him in storage next to Sebastian.
A distinct possibility.
And it's interesting that the ship scanners can pick up a sword.
Well, I'm sure it can detect the metal, the shape.
But somehow he got aboard the transport without any papers or identification of any type. but they're hoping they can get some fingerprints off of him to get him identified.
Thomas, why would I be in storage?
So Franklin, he's saying, if you are who you say you are, how did you get here 1700 years after you supposedly died? And I'm curious to know how closely they're going to stick to the Arthurian legend. But then I guess you could say, which version of the Arthurian legend would they be following anyway?
It's true.
But I think it's the Once and Future King by T.H. White is the one I had to read. Was it T.H. White? But it's like the Arthurian legend is pretty messed up. I mean, starting from Merlin working with Pendragon to assault a lady specifically to get Arthur born.
Yes, C.H. White. You're correct.
Arthur falling in love with his half sister, but he doesn't know it. Oedipus stuff going on there, which brings about Morgan Le Fay, who brings down the wizard Merlin.
Which has a Doctor Who tie-in, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. There was a Seventh Doctor story in which you see some of the Arthurian characters, and one of them calls the Doctor Merlin.
Yeah. And does he say a little bit? Or funny story?
It's never explained. No, York was not on Doctor Who, Omni.
And yes, he was doing a great job acting.
Yeah. Great acting in this story. Very different kind of story for B5.
And Strider's actually calling out the fact that the Vorlons do freeze people in time from time to time.
Yep, Sebastian's name was dropped. You're right, Omni. Yes, Brandon, that was Battlefield. Season 26 of Doctor Who.
And so Franklin is pointing out that, Sebastian, Strider was making the case that it could be that he really is Arthur. And that in the way that he believed that he was going to be brought back at the right time, maybe the Vorlons froze him, and now is the right time. We need him. And Franklin is pointing out that, that doesn't really hold water because his speech patterns are too modern. Everything about him speaks to him being a contemporary individual, not someone who's been frozen for 1700 years and then suddenly came back.
Modern English wasn't used until the early 17th century. So he escapes MedLab.
He asks this old lady, "What's wrong? Oh, what's wrong, old mother?" And she says they took it. And they took a frame, or they took a picture for the frame. It's a very expensive frame. And they kind of got some I don't know. I describe this more like almost Scottish kind of music.
Mm-hmm. Does sound Scottish.
Which is somewhat rude to Arthur and the Scots, I would say. So what's Jakar up to? There's some sort of data crystal he wants. The guy's saying everything he wants is right here. He goes, how can I trust you? I'm a man of business.
Now, what's really interesting is the actor he's here delivering the information to him is the same actor that plays the postmaster.
Oh. Is he supposed to be the same person? Or were they just reusing actors?
It's not really clear from the Usenet's information I looked at, but it is the same actor.
And at this point, Jakar is affiliated with security? Or just the Narn in general are?
I'm sorry, I missed your question.
I was trying to remember if Jakar himself is affiliated with the security.
Well, he brought in the Narn for the security, so yeah, he's associated with it. Now we got some great scenes coming up here.
so Jakar is kind of fighting in the background, like, yeah, get him. So the scummy guy says, the king tells the scummy guy, yield, and he says, nah, never, because I got friends. And Jakar leaps over the railing. He says, it's okay, because so does he. And they give each other a nod, and then the scene cuts, and he's giving the frame back to the old mother. Meanwhile, Garibaldi's trying to find him. And kind of the last place we left Jakar at before this episode was he was asking to be let in on whatever was happening behind the scenes with the Babylon staff. And I don't feel like we really got a resolution on if they let him in or not.
We haven't gotten a resolution.
And Jakar, he is riding this adrenaline. He's, I don't remember the last time I had such a good fight. And Arthur is talking about the values of chivalry. The whole purpose he established the Round Table for was to protect the weak. And Arthur says, my knights were such men as you. Well, okay, maybe not exactly as you, but, character. And Jakar is really caught up with this.
Yes, he is.
He's going for it.
He needed this, I think. He needed to have some fun.
I'm just shocked he's going for it. Arthur is saying, you were the first one who came to my aid. You will be my right-hand man at my new Round Table, and from now on you'll be Sir Jakar. And And Jakari, he's not going, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to be subservient to you. Uh, he's just, yes. And Garibaldi's trying to break into the post office, but instead he gets another $20 added to the cost of his crate. Now, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'm siding with the postmaster here. As much as I like Garibaldi,
So I was going to say maybe Jakar is going for this because he is getting increasingly inebriated.
Andreas Kasoulas, he was not a drinker, but he does these scenes so well.
And so Arthur was remembering, or he's talking about how he fell at the battle, and he's back in that corridor looking through a door, and he sees a fighter, a spaceship, but not an Minbari one. Was that a Narn cruiser?
No, it was Minbari.
It was, okay. And one of the interesting things about the Arthurian legend is how he specifically died because he didn't have Excalibur's sheath with him. That the legend went that as long as he had his scabbard, he was immortal. And Arthur is saying that the thing that went wrong on the battlefield is there was a miscommunication that seemed to have cost them.
Andreas Kasoulas was never drunk, so he didn't know from personal experience how to act the scene.
He's saying, so Strider comes up and he's saying Garibaldi is looking for Arthur, and Jakar is saying, I'll vouch for this man. I'll vouch for his character. I was there. And they made a very agreeable thump. Did I mention that? And Arthur invites Jakar to come with him, but Jakar needs a little nap.
Yes, he did. He made a nice thump as well.
And they're saying that Sir Gawain had the same issue.
Last time we saw a council meeting was quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was when Malari demanded that Jakar be kicked out of the council, as I recall.
Now, this is just the non-aligned worlds, it appears.
But now they're effectively an unaligned world themselves. Like Babylon 5. But they're almost making a pitch to join the non-aligned worlds, but they're trying to present it as if they had a strong position to stand on. Yeah, B5 is now an independent state.
Trying to still be what they used to be while they were still in Earth Alliance control.
And it kind of makes sense that it did take him that long to ID him. Because they don't have true access to EarthNet. They've broken the connections.
That's true. That's a good point.
Hey, William, how you doing tonight?
Welcome, William.
And so Strider is making a very passionate argument to not show Arthur who he really is. That if he were to know the truth, it would break him. And he tries to make the argument that, according to the Hippocratic Oath, Franklin, by telling him this information, would cause him harm. That better is the delusions of exaltation that he has right now. Okay, yeah, that's definitely an Mbari cruiser.
Definitely.
But William was saying there's an interesting parallel. Camelot and the Round Table, Narn and Kari, and another Babylon 5 review channel absolutely hated this episode? Huh.
It gets mixed reviews. I think it's a very good episode myself. But
I'm definitely enjoying the fact that this is a light episode. That there's humor. Like, not every episode has to be nonstop heavy. You can have just some, we're going to throw out this idea, we're going to have fun with it. And that's okay. And yeah, okay, they might be exiting the fun times. And he was at the Battle of the Line. Got the silver medal. And Franklin says, it also says that you were the gunnery sergeant on Prometheus. And here's Prometheus, and that sparks a kind of memory for him. And he tries to write it off, talking about how Prometheus brought fire to the gods, and, you know, oh yeah, I know Prometheus is Greek mythology. But Franklin says, no, this Prometheus was the first ship to encounter the Mbari. And they were the ones that opened fire. In fact, he was the one that took the first shot, it seems. That there was a miscommunication between the Mbari trying to speak to us and what the captain thought. And so because of this miscommunication, the captain ordered them to fire, and he's the one that took the shot. And so clearly he is suffering from major survivor's guilt, that all these people died, and yet he's the one who kicked the Battle of the Line off. Which, I mean, it's unfair of him to be blaming himself like this, because he was given the order to do it. It was not him that set off the battle. The captain did. But he still has so much guilt. Yeah, there we go. He's saying this man had no business surviving.
Kay Roberts kind of answered your question. This is mid-season 3. In the beginning was the TNT film that aired after season 4 had finished.
Now, I do actually agree with Franklin here. Strider made the argument that the delusion is better than reality. And I disagree. I don't think that is healing. I think that true healing comes from recognizing the pain of the situation and processing it and coming to grips with it. I mean, you can't deny you can deny reality, but denying reality doesn't bring health. Brandon, I have never seen this before.
I have seen it plenty of times.
He's talking about how that bodies were drifting like stars, and this is all his fault. And Franklin really should be putting it together at this point, that as he is drawing the sword out and saying this is his fault, maybe he shouldn't let this man have a weapon in his possession at this time. Yeah, Brennan, so watching Babylon 5 has been on my to-do list for decades. I just never gotten around to it. And Jeff has been a longtime fan of it. And so we're watching through it. I'm going to watch it with someone who has experienced this all before, but each episode, this is the first time I've ever seen it. So I make predictions each week about what the next episode will be that are usually quite wrong. But I try.
Hey, Josh Street.
Okay, Josh, it's not YouTube's fault entirely this time. It's a lot on me. I initially said it was going to be 9:30. I just clicked on the wrong time when I scheduled the live stream, and then I tried to change it at the last second, and it messed things up. Well, meanwhile, something happened. Well, we don't get to know what it was, but something happened with the unaligned worlds, I believe.
They got enough support to defend Babylon 5 from the non-aligned worlds. If I can talk.
9:30 Earth time, 9:30 Never time. It was the wrong time.
Yeah, these two are great together, Omni.
Oh, interesting point, Strider. Why did he come here? He said this wasn't an accident. He had to buy a ticket. He had to choose to come here.
I don't know if you caught it. This is the anniversary date for the encounter with the Minbari, the first encounter.
Yes.
Okay.
And so now, as the only British person on the station, he's now giving a quick summary of the Arthurian legend. And Franklin's saying, yeah, so Arthur was saying he couldn't know peace or rest until the lady took back Excalibur. And he that's why he came here, to find someone who's willing to take away his pain. And he's saying, okay, if the sword is Excalibur and Franklin's Bedivere, who's the Lady of the Lake? And so I'm expecting we're going to see Dolores. And yeah, there's good old Dolores. Oh, and by the way, Brandon, if you're new here, I know I get the names wrong. Whenever I'm notoriously bad at names. And whenever I get one wrong, I just have to run with it from that point on. So Delin has become Dolores. Marcus is Strider. I'm sure there's more out there. But interesting, in his previous kind of dream vision thing going on here, I do find it interesting that he was stabbed in the back by another knight, which, I mean, Arthurian legend, he was somewhat stabbed in the back by Mordred, his son. And also by Lancelot, who had an affair with his wife, but, you know, good times. But the reason he needs this, as they were saying in the Arthurian legend, is after he was mortally injured, he took the sword back to the Lady of the Lake, where she ushered him off to Avalon, where he would heal. And then once he was healed, he was supposed to come back.
Now, it's interesting she's the Lady of the Lake because she was on the Minbari cruiser that he fired at.
And so Garibaldi finally pays the 100 credits. And the guy saying, yep, one thing I learned is you never mess with the post office. And he brings up a box and it's all beat up. But he's just playing a joke. Whoops, just a little post office humor. And he brings him his real one.
I mean, that's not what I read.
And Garibaldi goes, oh, one more thing. You do know that we've lost all contact with Earth, and you do know that that your quarters, the space, is all being paid for by Earth. So now who's paying for all this space? And so he's putting the shakedown on the post office man, and the guy goes, fine, how much? And he goes, 101 credits.
And in fact, Omni, JMS and the Usenets said it was the same actor that we just saw. The one that Garibaldi was interacting with.
So Arthur is heading off to the Narn to basically create a new round table. And Franklin wants him to say, he's like, oh, I wish you could just stay a little bit longer until we're really confident you're healed. And he says, no, I'm healed. Soul and body are mended together. And so Strider was was off to the side. He says, I hate goodbyes. I just want to watch him go. So
A Kosh sighting.
So Frank, Strider was saying that he likes this Arthur guy, and Frank then says, what, even though he wasn't Arthur? And then Kosh shows up, and Strider goes, what next you're going to say is that Kosh isn't Merlin. Oh, well, that was an interesting comment. I don't know if there's supposed to be more than that, but I'm going to focus on it. So he was going through a list of everyone and saying who they would be. He said obviously Ivanova would be Morgana, King Arthur's wife, and the one who had the affair with Lancelot. Which in the novels, or in the novel, the Once and Future King, Lancelot was actually extremely ugly. Is how he described himself. He was the ugly knight. And despite this, like, he thought he could never be loved. And eventually he scales Guinevere's tower at some battle thing, and he pries the bars off her window, and he cuts up his hands, and he's worried that eventually she might get in trouble because they would assume that a wounded person from the battlefield had come and spent the night in his quarters, so he has to dispose of all the stuff. But he describes Ivanova as Guinevere. I didn't catch who he said Lancelot would be, but then he made a comment, and we all know who Mordred would be. Which is an interesting comment to me, because Mordred in the Arthurian legend was not a good guy. So was he trying to make a comment? But he was part of the Round Table. He was extremely trusted by Arthur. Or Gawain. Thank you. Ivanova was Gawain. Guinevere. Yeah, Guinevere is Arthur's wife. Sorry. But Mordred was the son of Arthur, who became a knight of the Round Table and was integral to the betrayal of Arthur himself. So, yeah, Melpha says maybe Mordred was President Clark. Maybe they're saying Mordred would be Londo. So I wonder if that was just an off-the-cuff thing.
Well, according to the Usenets, Mordred is a reference to Mr. Morden.
Okay.
The names are very similar. And yes, Hominy, or Morden. Yes, sir.
Okay, it works. Not quite as deep as I was hoping. Like, I was thinking maybe if you looked at it after the fact, we'd kind of have a Judas situation where one of the inner members was ultimately a betrayer. And then he also makes a comment, but who would be Morgan Le Fay? And Morgan
indeed.
Le Fay, I believe, well, I mean, she was Merlin's weakness. Was she Arthur's sister? Or was that someone else? Let's see.
I admit I'm not up on my Arthurian
I want to say that
references.
Morgan Le Fay was Mordred's mom and Arthur's sister. Like half-sister. And Arthur ended up having an affair with her. I don't think he knew it was his half-sister. Yeah, Arthur's half-sister, mother of Mordred, and Arthur was the father. So Mordred was an illegitimate child of Arthur's, and I don't think Arthur knew that. Maybe. Anyway, so I'm overanalyzing it. I don't think I don't think that JMS really had this much in mind about referencing the Arthurian legend. But I do wonder if he was trying to drop a little hint, like, hey, who would Morgan Le Fay be? Someone who is often seen both as a healer and as one who would undermine Merlin. And because Merlin was taken out of the picture, that set things up for Arthur's downfall. And I'm not sure if he said... Now, when he was going through the list of who people would be, did he mention Sheridan?
Yes, he did. And that would be Arthur himself.
Okay, that's what I was assuming he was going to go with. Which makes me wonder if we are getting a little bit of hint about someone who would be working potentially to undermine Arthur, or have a complex relationship with Arthur, but would be cautious / Merlin's undoing. So
we kind of did that in unison.
Yeah. If Sheridan is Arthur, Guinevere would need to be Delenn. Did he say Delenn's name at any point?
No.
If it's people that... Okay, so it could potentially be Delenn. There'd be a certain level of aproposness to that, and that complex relationship with Arthur, a healer. I don't think she would necessarily betray Kosh, though. Although that would be an interesting thing where...
Kosh let me just say... We potentially get an answer eventually, although it's not explicitly referenced back to this episode.
Okay. Yeah, and Wizards Don't Wear Pants was saying, don't forget our telepath. Now, I had a prediction a while back ago. When Talia died, or excuse me, when Talia was revealed, we saw the telepath from the pilot episode. And I made a prediction that she was going to come back and replace Talia. That they were going to need a telepathic character on the show. I thought it was going to happen a lot sooner than it has. I still suspect it's going to happen. I think we're going to get them back. We're at least going to get a telepath. Excuse me. We're going to get a telepath. And I think it's going to be... It makes sense to me to be Lita. Is that her name?
Lita Alexander.
So it makes sense to be her. Oh, that's right, K. Roberts. Ironheart is out there. I feel like his story is done in terms of that. Interesting, though. So if Lita came back...
That's right, Omni. She is being prepped by the Vorlons. She did go back to the Vorlons.
That's true. Would it make sense for her to be Morgana or Morgan Le Fay? Because she was definitely more on the worshipping side of the Vorlons when we last saw her.
Make a note and see if your prediction comes true.
We'll see.
So you think it's Lita?
I don't know if I think Morgan Le Fay's character would be Lita. Because she's supposed to portray Merlin. So in this instance, we'd be portraying Kosh. And would it make sense? Would any human telepath be able to do that? Go up against Kosh? I mean, whenever we see them do telepathic things, the Vorlons do telepathic things, it's compared to us, we're babies splashing in a puddle, and they are super master professionals. So,
Omni wants to know, what about Buster?
Who, Buster Kincaid?
Buster. You don't remember Buster?
I don't remember Buster. I remember Bester, maybe.
That's what you called Buster. Is Buster?
Did I call him Buster?
You did.
I thought I called him. Is his real name Bester?
His real name is Bester.
Okay,
But you called him Buster at one point.
I believe it.
And it stuck. It stuck. So there you go.
So would Buster be Morgan Le Fay? He makes more sense than Lita would. I don't see him coming onto the show as any more than a reoccurring character. Like, I couldn't see him being a main cast member, because his character specifically works as a mysterious, I'm here one week, I'm gone the next. So that every time you see him, it's like, okay, ooh, what's going to happen now?
K. Roberts says, I thought his real name was Walter. Don't confuse Matthew any more than he's already confused. Okay.
Yeah. Walter Buster. Got it. Good old Willie.
Alfred Buster, the Psychic Friends Network rating P12.
So yeah, I don't know. Of the people just talking right now, maybe Lita. If she comes back, she's been trained up by the Vorlons. You'd have to have some big incidents to get her to actually choose to undermine the Vorlons. Because when we last saw her, she's like, I kept her secret. I put it away in the corner of my mind where no one could ever get to it. But can I please just see you one more time? And she was enraptured when Kosh showed her himself, his true self. So it would be hard for me to see her betraying them, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because I do still think that we're going to see her back, because we need a psychic on the station, and it would make a lot of sense to me for her to fill that role. I feel like
we need that member of the Psychic Friends Network. Yeah,
and she has a much deeper connection to Babylon 5 than Michael Ironsides did. Or not Michael Ironsides, Ironheart.
You're in rare form. You're in rare form tonight.
Oh yes. See, I don't see it being Ironheart. So
Ironsides, yeah.
Michael Ironsides, that's someone very different. We'll see. I'll try and remember this episode. I'll pay special attention when I'm rewatching it later.
Okay, well, I'm typing this out. So is it Lita Alexander or is it Buster?
So who would have thought that a throwaway line at the end of the episode is what would have gotten my gears turning so aggressively there?
Or is it a throwaway line?
Good question. A Warhammer psyker.
Maybe it's Dodger, says Omni.
Duck Dodgers? Yeah, maybe Kiefer. Kiefer will come back. He's the one from Future King.
Maybe it's Kiefer. Kefir. It's Kefir. Yeah, it's Kefir. Not Kiefer, Kefir.
Kiefer and Reefer. Lord
exactly.
Reefer.
Dodger is the ground pounder that had the love interest with Garibaldi.
Yeah.
Season 2. The Gropo.
Yeah, just but a scratch. Yeah. So Jeff, thoughts about the episode?
This was, I think, a very unique, maybe the most unique episode of B5. Well done. Well, great acting. I mean, Michael York, he did a fantastic job. Very character piece. I love the scenes with Jakar. I think Andreas Casillas had just a fantastic time with this episode, acting those scenes. So that was fun. I have to side with the post office. I think Garibaldi just went overboard with this package of food that he was getting. We have some developments in the overarching story. We have some members of the non-league, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, I should say, joining the defense for Babylon 5. So it's not just the Minbari now. It seems like they're building something there.
Okay, so is that what Ivanova said? Because maybe I misheard her. I thought she was saying that it's kind of a good news, bad news situation.
Well, she said some of them would not join, but they had enough for the defense of the station.
Okay, I missed the part where some joined. I thought they were kind of leaving it open-ended about what was about to happen here.
Omni says mutual defense pact, yes. So maybe they're building something there. So we do have some development with that. We get a little bit of backstory with the start of the Minbari War, what happened with the Prometheus and killing of Dukat, all of that. So that was good backstory for the show.
On the start of the Minbari War, or the Battle of the Line, did they say what the miscommunication was?
Well, this wasn't the Battle of the Line. The Battle of the Line was the end of the war. The events that we saw with him firing the weapons, that was at the start.
Oh.
And that was the first encounter with the Minbari. The Earth ship encountered them, and they had the Minbari had their gun ports open, and the commander of the Earth Alliance ship got twitchy. He thought that meant that they were going to attack, so they fired first.
Like Han.
Yeah. But it was a sign of respect. Here's our weapons. We respect you. Let's be friends. That's what the Minbari were trying to do. And they misinterpreted it. They thought they were going to attack.
Gotcha. I guess I thought they made a comment about how he volunteered at the Battle of the Line. And so
he did volunteer at the Battle of the Line.
Okay.
I guess he had guilt of starting the war, so he went in the Battle of the Line, and he knew it was a suicide mission.
Okay, I heard the dialogue, anyway. But I got the order of events mixed up. When they mentioned that he volunteered at the Battle of the Line, I thought we were watching him at the line. No. I'm with you now.
No, that was at the other end of the war, the beginning of the war. They weren't at war yet.
Yeah. Yeah, Sinclair was one of the others who survived. He had a hole in his body after that.
200 out of 20,000? Is that what they said? Something like that. And yes, Omni, the space battle was the first human Minbari encounter. And if you recall, we've had Minbari cruisers coming up to Babylon 5 with their gun ports open.
Oh, I hadn't been paying attention to that.
So that's baked into the show. It's been there for a long time. But yeah, this was a good character piece and a nice little side episode, I think, for the series.
Yeah.
Starting next week, things start getting heavy again.
Ooh. I can see why people... So I enjoyed it, but I can see why people wouldn't like it when you've had so much character-driven pieces where the entire series is plot moving forward and you see all the intrigue going on, and each episode is just more and more and more of it. And then you get this episode, and it's like, where did this episode come from? Like, out of left field. You don't have major plot advances.
No.
You don't get huge revelations about anything. You got that line at the end, which we'll see what happens there. But, and then if it's about to get even heavier after this, I can see where someone would look at this one episode and go, this episode doesn't belong. I don't like it. But
I suppose so. But you
I
can't have
think-
22 episodes of heavy material.
Yeah, and that's exactly
Season.
what I was going to say, that you need these break moments. In fact, this is such an important concept in story writing in general, that it's something Alfred Hitchcock knew so well. In the movie The Birds, if you look at the pacing of it, he would specifically have high octane moments, and then a moment where everyone got away from the birds and things ramped way down, and you'd have just this quiet moment going on, like they're all inside that diner together, and they have several minutes where they're talking, they're processing, and then action ramps back up. And it is because of those quiet moments that the intense moments hit all that much harder, because you're able to calm down. Because if you're up here all the time, you become desensitized. Your body's like, okay, this is where I exist. But by coming back down, you're able to like really ramp back up. So I think this episode was vital in helping the future ones be more poignant. Because otherwise it's just like, okay, yeah, Babylon 5 is, 90210 in space sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Now, in addition to that, so one, I think narratively this was an important episode, just to have a rest moment in the middle of the series. But two, I thought it was a fun episode. I enjoyed Jakar, yeah, get him, you got, and then he vaults over the railing and he, mutual head nod, and then they're going at it. It was funny. It was lighthearted. It
was. And you could tell he was having a ball acting those scenes, Andreas Katsilas.
Now, as it was happening, I was thinking, especially when he was reveling it afterwards, just gushing about it, that does kind of conflict a little bit with his new persona of being like, okay, the Narn people need to come away from their warriorness, that we were peaceful people and we need to get back to those roots before we lose the essence of who we were. But at the end of the day, he was a warrior. Just because he's going through the spiritual awakening doesn't mean he's completely gotten rid of that part of him. And it was fun to let that part fly again. It was kind of reminiscent of him in the elevator with Mondo, where he's like, I don't have to do anything and you still died. This is great.
Right. Exactly. And haven't really talked about it. Marcus and Dr. Franklin, they have some good scenes in this.
Yes. This was very much, I would say that more than anything, this was kind of Marcus's story to run with. That we got
Strider.
Yeah, Strider. That we got a lot of more information about who he is and what he's dealing with. Especially when he was talking about that pin or brooch that he wears.
And I don't know if you caught it. It's not just him. It's all the Rangers wear that.
Mm-hmm. And also we got to see a lot about his mentality in life. And I get the feeling he might be projecting a bit when he didn't want Arthur to know who he really was. His comments about the delusion of exaltation being better than 1,000 harsh realities. I think he believes that because he himself has rejected the healing process. And this is something we saw 2 weeks ago, I think it was, when they had the ceremony at the end and they got their black uniforms. He refused to go to the Mbari ceremony because he didn't want to deal with it. He says he has nothing left. And I think that's going to be something we see develop throughout, at the very least, this season, if not the rest of the series, of him having to come to grips with the fact that he's allowed to not just be a part of a team, but actually let the walls down and be healed by being in that team of trusted individuals. Because he trusts them strategically. And we get to see him having a lot of fun with Marcus right now, but he's still holding on to that idea that he loses everything. And so I feel like there's still a bit of a wall that exists. I don't know. We'll see.
He needs his pain.
Yes, like Kirk.
Like Kirk in The Dream.
Yeah. Crazy dream. But hey,
exactly.
That's how dreams work, where you think about going someplace and then you're in that place. They're on the edge of the Milky Way. They're in the center of the Milky Way. Dreams are just crazy. Who can reason a dream?
You can go anywhere in a dream.
Yeah.
Including deck 70 something on the Enterprise. At the top of the ship, no less.
So yeah, I think this was a fun episode. I think it actually had a lot more in it than maybe than I'm assuming people who don't like it think would be in it. Because I suspect that's what a lot of it comes down to for people who didn't like it. I'm assuming, which, makes a fool out of you and me, but I'm assuming that people's gripe with this is that it is lighthearted and that it is somewhat silly and nothing really happens. But I kind of liked it for all those reasons.
You need that kind of change every once in a while. It was good.
So my prediction.
Ooh, prediction time.
I was wrong. The end. Okay. I was trying to think, like, how could I like twist this? Like, Strider was a lot in this, and he really did need the healing that Arthur saw, but Arthur left. He's not getting it yet. Maybe he'll get it later. But no, that's silliness. Swing and a miss on my part. We'll try again next week with my prediction this week for next week.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Omnia, the Technomages on the Ship of Tears, which is the name of next week's episode. Ship o' Tears. So, Ship of Tears. The question is this going to be like an Umbari ship that has a just like a poetic name, it's translated, it means Ship of Tears. Is this going to be kind of a Trail of Tears situation? Like the Cherokee were kicked off their land and they had the Trail of Tears to the reservation. So this is the Ship of Tears, as we are having a displaced people forced out of their home and having to go somewhere else. Or is this much more literally like a ship where just horrible things happen? Like maybe it's a Centauri ship, and it's basically a slaver ship, and you're having the Narn transported from their homeworld to be in slavery, and it stops. This is going to be my prediction. I'm just going to run with this because it's working out well. The Ship of Tears is going to be a Centauri slaver ship. That it is. They don't call it that. They call it a labor ship or labor transport ship, something like that. But what it is it's a slaving ship, like we had in the olden days of, people were packed in too tightly, disease was rampant, people would drown, and you wouldn't know because of how tightly people were packed in. Horrible ships. And I think we're gonna have the same thing here, that they are packing in the Narn, and they stop at Babylon 5. And it's going to be a dicey situation because Jakar wants all the Narn liberated, and Sheridan wants to liberate the Narn, but legally they can't board the ship. And so it becomes a big question: how are they going to be able to help these Narn? And how do they make sure they don't start a war with the Centauri as an independent state now? I think Franklin is going to be heavily involved in that. He's going to have to go board the ship to try and deal with some medical outbreak issue going on there. But that's going to be the root of the issue. How do they help the Narn since they can't help the Narn?
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas, if I name every species, I'll get one thing right.
John respects the boldness of how specific your predictions are, Matthew.
Thank you. Thank you. I try. Prediction is 100% correct as usual, from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view, right? From a certain point of view?
Do they cast a spell, or do the Technomages cast a spell on the labor ship? No. I don't think we're there. Hey, Gorillas, how you doing?
Hi, Gorilla.
I know and about the Technomage prediction, I don't know if I said at the time. I think I did. But if not, I'll make an addendum that I do think that this is going to be a late season happening. I don't think the White Star is going to get the upgrade anytime soon. Because honestly, we haven't done much with the White Star yet. We've had a couple of key pivotal things. We had them going to Europa to destroy the Shadow Spider ship. We had the initial foray with them when we were introduced to the White Star. We had Delin saving the bacon for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But this is still very much a series about Babylon 5. It's not just the name of the show. It's about the station itself.
No, Josh, we can't. We can't say blank blank to Matthew.
Yeah. Do I not look at whatever's in the chat right now?
I think you're safe.
Okay. So I think at some point we'll have to see. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to become something like Deep Space Nine did with the Defiant, where we had a string of episodes where it was very Defiant heavy and we were away from the station. I think we're going to stay on the station, but at some point the White Star is going to have to do something and it's going to get heavily damaged. And that's when the Technomages are going to step in. And I think that's going to be a late game situation.
Now, is that late this season or another season?
I think I'm talking season 5.
Okay. Season 5. Okay.
Because did you ever watch any of the Gundam series?
I haven't seen that, no.
You watched Battlestar, or not, Battletech?
Space Battleship Yamato?
That's the one.
Yeah.
So,
or Star Blazers as it's called here.
Yeah. So a common thing with these sort of series, and I haven't finished it, so I don't know if this is correct about it at all. But in the Gundam series at the very least, you would have it where the Gundam is introduced, it's the strongest thing out there, and yeah, it has some hard battles, but consistently, just all the time, victory, 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 victory. And then it gets overwhelmed and it gets heavily damaged and it has to get upgraded. The pilot has to have some revelation about how they're not actually, understanding the heart of the machine, and then they come to unlock some new power of the Gundam. I think that we're going to have the same sort of formula here, that the White Star is going to have victory, 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 and then crushing defeat. And it's going to be one of these things where it's like, we don't know what we're going to do without the White Star now. We need the White Star. I think that's when we'll get the Technomages. So I do think that's going to be like a season 5 thing.
Okay. John says that he thinks it's more likely that the Technomages go on a quest to defeat the albino.
Ooh.
And Thomas says, let's make a bet. If the Technomages don't do that at the end of the season, you do one virtual pub the week after the end of the season.
Ooh. All right. All right. I like that.
You heard him. You heard him.
Yeah. I think that's a fair bet.
We might have a virtual pub.
Yeah.
I say might.
So we'll find out in like 3 years at this rate.
Well, you've had some bad luck.
Yeah, I do apologize for not being able to do it last week. Things things come up. I was telling Jeff, like, I had a suspicion early on that it wasn't going to happen. But I think it was 5 when you finally asked me, like, Matt, are we doing this? And I had to fess up and be like, no, I'm sorry. I was holding out hope that I'd be able to work things out, but it didn't happen. But hey,
we did it this week. Yeah. We had fun.
I was making a joke, Brandon, about how bad I am about streaming. I try and do it every week, but so I'm a programmer for industrial equipment, so I often have to go out at the drop of a hat to job sites. Now, thankfully, the job I'm at right now is like 99% remote work, but every once in a while something comes up where I just have to go and take care of stuff because I am extremely good at what I do. If I may do a bit of a humble brag here, pat myself on the back a little bit. And when problems come up, I can go fix them. And so I do. And it's a good job, and I like it. But as a result, it means that sometimes I don't get a stream every week. It's rare. It's been increasingly rare, but there has been a stream of non-streams as of late, I feel like. But
yeah,
we
the
all
last
know me
few
and my
months.
memory, so.
Last few months, we've been a little less reliable.
Yeah. But in theory, every Tuesday night at 9, not 9:30, we have these streams.
You know, we used to do this at 9:30.
We
I
did.
think you just got, you know, we had the string of weeks that we haven't done it, and you just forgot. So by instinct, you just put in 9:30.
Yeah, I may have. I was rushed this morning. I was running a little bit late for work. And I think I just on autopilot went boop boop 9:30. Let's go.
Yep. And poor Thomas, because we didn't do it last week. He got confused on what day it was, so it became Wednesday, and he thought, oh, it's Tuesday, and we'll have the stream. No stream? What? That was yesterday, Thomas.
Sorry, Thomas. Brandon,
I did put a hint in Discord. He just didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, the no boom today.
No boom today. Yeah.
But Brandon, I don't know how long Corey Olsen has been going through the Lord of the Rings. It is not far from being Wednesday where I am also. So how about we go ahead and call this a night, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for putting up with me while we had to do a quick rejiggering of the stream here so that we could get the StreamYards work. I don't know why it wasn't working for me, but I'm glad it worked for y'all. So we're good.
Yeah. We made it through.
We did. There was a minute there where I was starting to get a little nervous.
Yeah, I was beginning to wonder myself.
So
but you did it. You did it, Matthew. You did it. Congrats.
Did it. Thanks, everyone. So hey, I look forward to seeing you next week for season 3, episode 14, Ship of Tears. Hopefully with 90% less technical difficulties.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.